questions for Coach?
Jack, the same question. That defensive, that had to be exactly what your game plan was, right? For this, I mean, you basically made them uncomfortable.
Well, you know, we go in every game trying to make a team one-dimensional. And certainly, if you watch Stony Brook run the football, it's something they do well. They commit to it. In the last 2 years, 13 up here, they gave us an incredibly hard time. In our championship season, they went up in front 14-13 and driving to go up 21-13. When they decided to throw it, we intercepted on the 10, and the next thing you know, we're winning a football game late. But last year, they pounded us down there, so we expected that from them, and really committed to stop the run. Felt like if we could do that, we get them into something that they're just not quite as good at, and that's throwing the ball on a regular basis. I don't think Coach wants to throw the ball as much as they ended up throwing it. They threw it 41 times today. I don't think that's their nature. That's going to work in your favor. Worked hard. We got destroyed by the run last week, so we really worked hard on it. And I thought we had a much better approach. We played better. We played with better intensity too. We were a little bit full of ourselves maybe last week off of Albany. We learned a hard lesson from it, and we really manned up today in the physical part of the game.
You talk a little bit about, you guys kind of went to like a heavy set with four backers, a couple inside guys. Was that?
We did. We went to the G that people call it. We with Randy and Beans on the outside, with Mulumber and McCabe on the inside, and just one safety. We didn't do it as much as we thought, because they came in right away, and you saw them kind of play action past us a little bit. They wanted to throw the quick passing game off of play action, so for us it got them, their plan diminished the need for us to be so much in that. Had we seen what we saw from them 2 years ago and last year, the big heavy personnel, we probably would have stayed more in that. But it was a good change up for us, and we think very highly of, obviously, those linebackers in there, Beans and Randy on the outside. And of course, I thought Chris really was a factor inside. Probably felt Chris more than we have at any other time this year. He was Christoph that we remember from last year and the year before.
You talk about, obviously you had said last week that or earlier this week, that you were planning to use both your quarterbacks. Did Drew just kind of give you the spark you really needed when you?
Well, obviously we planned on playing to just as the way the game started. First series, second series, and Drew took us down for the field goal, so we went with him again on the third series. We feel, this is a situation that goes back to a decision, in preseason that Danny was our guy. They're very close. They're very close ability-wise, and they bring strengths to our offense. And Drew's strengths fit this football game. The 25 carries I'm looking at here, no turnovers. Those are the kind of things that win this game. We spoke about no turnovers. We spoke about field position. I know our punter gave us great field position today. He really excelled, and I thought Sherrod did a great job in stealing field position back with a fair catch. It was very gutty field catches. And games like this, which we knew, you look at the history of our games, and you look at Stony Brook's history, they're not a big. You don't get a lot of points against them. If you really count today, we only scored 3 times. The fourth one's a defensive touchdown, so we got 2 field goals and a touchdown, out of the deal, and 3 field goals and a touchdown. But they're a very difficult team to score on. I look back, they beat New Hampshire 37-6. That tells you something about their defense. So it kind of played out with Drew in there the way we thought it would. I think in the second half, especially when we needed the run, the QB run, and the ball security, and all those things which he gave us.
Was it Dan's fumble that kind of sealed his fate in terms of not getting back on the field?
Well, I almost thought the first pass of the game that almost went for a touchdown sealed his fate. Not to make fun of it, but I go back and I went, holy I don't mean to make fun of it, but you can't turn the ball over in a game like this, and you really can't take risks with the ball. I just thought we did the right thing for our football team here today.
That was really the only short field they had off Danny's turnover there in the first half.
Yeah,
when
they
they
scored
put down
off.
28 yards and
Yeah.
scored. But other than that, you talked about your defense, and Stony Brook just couldn't get anything going.
No, I mean, they did, like I said, and I'm looking here and I'm seeing they ran the ball for 10 yards. 10 yards. And I know that includes sacks and everything, but I'm sure they're not happy about that. It's not who they are.
What can you say about Drew as a punter? He got some tough yards in there.
Oh, very tough. We know that. That's him. I mean, I know he's a football player. He's a quarterback, but he's a football player too. He's a tough kid, and it's probably been difficult for him not to be more involved in this team because he wants to, and he's about all the right things. Just like Danny, they're both about all the right things. They're great teammates. They're great young men, and it's probably been hard on both of them to not really be the guy, but they both can be the guy and help us win, and that's really what this is all about. It's a team game, and you got to play your horse that's ready. And today he was the guy.
And it feels like when Drew's in the game, to me, it feels like the offense is more up tempo than it is with Dan in the game. It seems a little bit slower and methodical.
Today.
Not today. I'm just saying overall.
Well, I
It
think
feels more up tempo.
we did play a slower game, a slower pace game. One of the things that I think we wanted to do was reduce the clock a little bit and make sure they give you a ton of looks. So we were in ice a lot, which is our ability to get up on the line of scrimmage and call plays from the press box. Signal them in with about 10 seconds left on the clock. So we did a lot of that today, which I guess fed into the slowness of the game.
Jack, what did you feel was
I'm sorry.
what did you feel was the big swing?
The turnover to start the second half, no question, no question. I thought we were provided a short field and took advantage of the opportunity. That was coming out at the half. I mean, we 3-and-outed them. So again, my conversation at halftime about we got the ball, we're going to take it down, get a score was bogus. But we got the ball back on the turnover, and that was a big play. It was a third and short, and we really went up in there with a real physicality. Ball came out, and we went down and scored. Great throw from Drew to Jaleel on that one down to the one.
Yeah, I guess Sean, obviously 3 of 4 and 2.
Yeah.
I mean, how heartening is that to see?
Sean's a great kid, wonderful kid. He's been battling some injuries type things that he never brings up. He's just a kid that prepares everybody, takes tremendous pride in his work ethic. He's as fine a conditioned kid as we have in a football team. He's as committed a kid. He's a kicker, but he's a football player. He really is. And he's had obviously too. We've been disrupted in there. We've had 3 snappers. We had Salmon, then Reese, and now we got young John Kay, a first-year player. So there's more to it. It's like the quarterback gets blamed for the sack or whatever. There's more to an operation on a football team. The snap, the hold, the kick, and all those things are vital. And I thought today we were much better than we were last week at that. And John Kay was the reason for it. He's a week older, wiser, and better because of what happened. What his learning experience from last week. I thought he was outstanding, and our times were great. And you could see Sean develop the confidence, and he's the first one to admit. There was a 43-yard attempt, and there was a little breeze in his face, and yeah, the ball did not get up enough on that one, and as a result, we got the ball.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.